It's just unbelievable. I've been waiting my whole life for this, and all the losses are worth it now, and this is just the beginning.
Friends and family who have been believing in me all the time when there have been times that I didn't believe myself.
I sort of proved to myself that I still got it.
You had to go 4-0 this year in Elite Pluses is absolutely crazy. I think it's just a good building block, hopefully earning Player of the Year. That's been one of my long-time goals.
When I came in the US for the first time in 2022, I only had one goal in my mind. It was to be the first Finnish disc golf player to win on the Disc Golf Pro Tour, and I did it today.
Colin Hanley!
The backdrop of the Green Mountains welcomes us to Smuggler's Notch Resort and playoff season. Competitors are vying for additional points as all mountain trails lead us to the Tour Championship. Today, we start the Disc Golf Pro Tour playoffs presented by Barbasol. Of course, all the stars are here. Lazat, Macbeth, Staples, along with Chris Dickerson. And picking up his first win on the Disc Golf Pro Tour earlier this year. Well, that gentleman and the guy before him, Antala. Matty O trying to ride out the season. He's been pacing himself over these last few weeks, trying to deal with any injuries that might be looming. And two-time world champ Isaac Robinson, along with a couple of other guys who are racking up wins week in and week out. Welcome in, everyone. Terry Miller joined alongside Nate Doss and Nate Sexton. Guys, it's the playoffs. If you're not excited, if you're not ready to go, I don't know what else we can do for you.
Yeah, I mean, I think I say it every year, but this is just a favorite stop for the whole tour. I think you get up into Vermont, it's a destination. I think it would probably win a poll if you asked everybody where they would want to play the most and be. So a really exciting time in the disc golf season.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, this just gets you started. 4 out of the next 5 weekends are going to be spent playing for effectively what we would consider major championships. I mean, these are playoffs. You have the Tour Championship, of course, the USDGC. So it's a good time to get it kicked off, and Vermont's the perfect place for it.
Yeah, and you said it best, Sexton. When listening to our players yesterday during the press conference, almost every one of them said this is one of the top places to be. And we keep talking about the playoffs and the championship and the Tour Championship. And what does that mean? The top 32 men and top 20 women in world standings qualify for the Tour Championship. All Pro Tour and PDGA major winners automatically qualify, and Disc Golf Pro Tour and major winners who are not qualified via points are added to the field. So in a world where we have 32 of those men right now, it's actually 33 because Jesse Nieminen is currently the only player qualified exclusively through his win at the Copenhagen Open. So if one way to guarantee yourself a spot at the Tour Championship next month would be to win one of these events in the next few weeks. It's a tall task if you're sitting outside of one of those 32 spots, but anything is possible. And we look at those 32 spots right there on the bubble. We see Eagle McMahon and Ezra Aderhold. Eagle in the cut, Ezra currently outside of it. And Ezra even said yesterday he's surprised to find himself that far down. He knows the work that's ahead of him, and we'll see what he can do this weekend and apply that pressure to the gentlemen that are in front of him. And someone who doesn't have to worry about that whatsoever, one of the most winning guys of the year, Gannon Burr, #1 in Pro Tour World Standings, Statmando rankings, and PDGA World Rankings. And maybe more importantly, he has won every 4-round event this season except for the Champions Cup. One heck of a record.
Yeah, the caveat being that the World Championship is 5 rounds. Just wanted to throw that out there because I know some people are probably screaming at their TVs
trying to do the math.
But look, Gannon Burr in the last several years has become one of the greatest players that we've seen in modern disc golf, and this season has been no exception. He's put the pedal to the metal. He's won every single Disc Golf Pro Tour Plus event, and it's been a long time since there's been almost a sure favorite in every single tournament, and that's where we are right now in Gannon Burr.
Just an incredibly dominant season at those Elite Plus events. obviously, kind of goes without saying, he's got every shot you can imagine. I mean, the guy is just a complete player at the age of 19.
And as we're looking at some of these events, we're talking about the D-Glow, which he just picked up most recently. Of course, winning Ledgestone, Portland Open, and Waco. Those are all the Elite Plus events. Picked up the 4-round major at the European Open. So impressive what he's doing. He knows he's got a goal in mind. He also wants to win Player of the Year. And we'll see how he closes out over the next month or so, but certainly a front runner in that category as well. Someone who's picked up 4 wins already this year as well, Anthony Barella with a breakout season. He tees off on the other side of the break.
TeamDiscraft.com, your ultimate destination for exclusive player-inspired releases, collaborations, and collections. Discover limited edition discs, apparel, and accessories you won't find anywhere else. TeamDiscraft.com brings you the gear you need for the ultimate fan shopping experience. Don't miss out on these one-of-a-kind items. Shop today and rep your favorite team.
Tie at the top. She has to make it.
No way!
Nervy putt to win. Hanley! Her first Disc Golf Pro Tour Elite event.
At LL Bean, we've been innovating for over a century, making great products better so you can feel better. Day after day, year after year. Outside together since 1912. LL Bean, be an outsider.
Discraft, built for flight. Built for flight.
Feeling great starts with a great shave. Today, the world is in the palm of your hand. Or at least this can is. For over 100 years, Barbasol, it's a can of can-do.
Hello, we're Kenna. We're a Dutch growing company. We love plants and we want to tell you some cool things about them. Just like humans, plants can communicate. They can sense when another plant is close. Plants look out for each other too. They warn neighbors about nearby threats by secreting substances. And studies have shown that plants love a good tune. We love and understand plants. Let our passion excite you too.
The Green Mountain Championship is brought to you by Smuggler's Notch, America's family resort, and Discraft, the worldwide leader in disc sports. AB getting ready to tee off, opening the season so strong this year. Of course, picking up the win at the Chess.com Invitational. And we see what he did in the beginning of the year. February through April, 3 wins, average finish of 4th place. His worst was 10th. And since then, hasn't been able to keep up with that pace. Is that just a pace that you can't keep up with unless you're Gannon Buhr? How does that happen?
I don't even think Gannon Burr's average numbers are quite that good. Average 4th. They might be, honestly. But yeah, I think that's absolutely true, Terry. I think fantastic season. Let's just get that out of the way. Fantastic season for Anthony Barella. Huge step up in his game, but a little bit of regression to the mean in the latter half of the season.
I think I only have one more.
And with that, looks like he'll be ready to go here. Remember, he finished second at the World Championships on these very courses just a year ago. Let's see what he can do this year at the GMC.
Welcome, everybody, to the opening round of the 2024 Green Mountain Championships here at Smuggler's Notch Resort. We're presented today by our sponsors at Barbasol and Discraft. This is the MPO division, chase card, a 240 start. First on the tee, from Lawrenceville, Georgia. He's a 2-time and current world champion of disc golf. One of them won right here last year. Let's give a warm welcome back to Isaac Robinson. Next up, from Scottsdale, Arizona, help me welcome Anthony Barella. Yay, B. All right, the other half, the dynamic duo from Lawrenceville, Georgia. Let's welcome Ezra Robinson. Yes. Finishing out this foursome from Huntington Beach, California. He's the 2019 Green Mountain champion and a 6-time world champion. Let's make noise for Paul Macbeth. Good luck on the course today, gentlemen.
Another member of our broadcast booth, of course, being Brian Earhart. He's got a little walk and talk thanks to our friends at IDEO. He's catching up with both the Robinson brothers. Take it away, Brian.
Got a couple of Georgia boys walking with me down the fairway of one here at Brewster Ridge. Isaac, I know you told me this is one of your favorite places to play disc golf. I'll start with you, Ezra, though. How do you feel about this place, and how do you feel about coming back to Vermont?
Yeah, I love this place. It's probably my favorite as well. This is my first time playing the Green Mountain Championships. I only played it for Worlds last year, so this is my only second time being up here, so I'm super excited.
Isaac, you threw the tee shot off one. Last year you came here, you won a world title. Excited to play this course again?
Oh, yes. Very excited.
Let's get started. Let's just get these guys out of here. Back to you guys.
Somebody off to a great start is Casey White, 7 for 7 to get his round started.
Wow, 100% on every stat for Casey White today.
Let's take a look at his season. His best finish was 9th at the Beaver State Fling. Worst was 69th at the Worlds. And memorable moment was looking strong while chasing his first Elite Series or Major at the Champions Cup. Dealt with a hand injury mid-tournament and his total cash a little north of $12,000. And I do recall thinking back to Casey being one of those contenders at that Champions Cup, and we were kind of checking in with him to see whether it was a blister or something, and he was applying some new skin and all of that other stuff, trying to possibly get his finger back in shape, but he'd come up short. Andrew Presnell would go on to win it. As we see Macbeth forehand, or excuse me, a little backhand action to get him there. Ken Climo being on site years ago.
That's the starter Kenny took a picture with all those years ago.
Robinson opens with a circle 2 putt. Gonna roll the Zuka replay right away on 1. What a great start. Confidence builder.
Beautiful putt. Expect nothing less, but that has to feel great after a disappointing drive.
It's funny, you know, thinking about disappointing here on 1, because the opposite is Ezra going long OB. I think if you're going to make that mistake, you got to be that 30, 40 short where those two guys were. Joey Buckets with a nice putt. It's up on hole 2.
Ezra is able to escape with the par. The putt we saw from Anderson, that was for birdie.
I think
moments ago, and here's Macbeth in for the par.
Brewster, just a fantastic place to hit some circle 2 putts. It's not very windy ever. I think we're going to see a lot of big putts today.
I agree.
We're going to see more action on the other side of the break. We'll be right back.
I don't flex, I'm success. I don't flex, flex. I don't flex, flex. Flex, flex. I don't flex, flex. I don't flex, flex. I don't flex, flex. I don't flex, flex.
Escape to the mountains this fall and stay at Smuggler's Notch Resort. With mountainside lodging and breathtaking views of foliage right at your doorstep. Conveniently located in the heart of Vermont, Smugs has everything you need right at your fingertips with many activities to choose from. Go apple picking, biking, or take a scenic cruise on beautiful Lake Champlain. Explore our local community with specialty shops, fine dining, and antiques. Book 3 nights or more and get the next night of lodging free.
Look at these. This is my stamp. The Entropy, it's a very stable, controllable disc. Very good for short game, very good for forehand up shots, very good for backhand up shots. You can check out my new Team Series disc on the MVP Pro Shop.
The United States Disc Golf Championship, a tournament with history unmatched in the disc golf world.
Oh, you bet! Colin Hanley is on fire.
Talk about giving the crowd a show. What a performance from Kyle Klein.
Gannon Berg, this kid is unbelievable.
Oh my God!
back. And if you happen to be joining us via YouTube today, welcome in. But we've got a little special for you. Subscribe and get 25% off your first month over on Disc Golf Network. Use code GMC25. See all the incredible events that are coming up over the next month, including next week when we head to MVP, but then also USDGC, Throw Pink, Tour Championship. You want to miss out. Also, if you want to see the rest of this weekend, you'll need to do so using DGN. So GMC25 gets you a 25% code for the first month. 25% discount, that is.
Thanks a lot. Good luck.
No problem. Have a nice day.
Heimberg signing some autographs of some Disc Golf Pro Tour cards.
I think we've had some conversations about Player of the Year, you know, as we're looking at, you know, AB and Gannon, those guys. I mean, last year, Calvin won Player of the Year and didn't have that many wins. All of a sudden, you got these guys with all kinds of wins, but it's still going to come down to consistency. And that's where Gannon's got the notch on AB, plus the major at the European Open.
Kyle Klein off to a good start, getting birdie there. Now we're with Robinson.
Just fading off left, but that's a really positive shot from that spot. Kind of set himself with another Circle 2 opportunity.
Yeah, before we went to break, Sexton, you were talking about Circle 2 putts. I think that's exactly what if you can get to Circle 2 in regulation on every hole out here, you're going to have a good round because there's a lot of Circle 2 putts to be made. It's just easier to make them in the woods.
Yes.
Tee of 3 with Chris Dickerson.
Should mention, I mean, every group seems like a superstar group so far that we've seen. That's because they're in order of their Pro Tour points. So we're seeing in this group 5 through 8.
Yeah, welcome to the playoffs.
Exactly. Oh, this looks great.
Oh, that's really well done. And that's a dangerous shot as you're trying to turn the backhand over from that out of position spot. If you yank it, you take the one tree kick, that entire right side is out of bounds. So well done from Macbeth. There you see the kick.
And that looks to be out of bounds as well for Robinson, thinking about going OB on now 1 and 2. Klein has picked up birdies on holes 1 and 2. Trying to go for his 3rd in a row. A par on 3 is disappointing to most players.
Certainly one of the more straightforward holes on the course. This for bogey. That must have been a very bad early kick.
Got AB back here for me.
I think it's so funny the conversation about AB not being that great in the woods. I mean, remember last year, took 2nd place here at this property in the World Championship. If AB's on, he can play at any course in the world. No question about it.
I think that could be said of like the majority of the top 20. Like obviously we want to tell stories and you want to kind of put people in boxes. But these guys are disc golfers, and I think you'd be hard pressed to pick somebody out. It's like, well, the guy just can't golf in the woods. He's got if you're in the playoffs right now, you're in that top 32. I don't think there's a course that scares you.
Agreed.
Perfectly played by Chris. You saw him go with that overstable fairway type disc, making sure to get it left off of that wood line. Perfect power, easy birdie.
Reef hesitation by Isaac, and it doesn't matter because he's got his second circle 2 connection. Back-to-back birdies.
Yep, that's what it takes out here on Brewster. You give yourself opportunities, you got to take advantage. I mean, when you're on the first tee and the day is perfect, you're thinking double digits. You have to be thinking 10 under or better out here if you want to be at or near the lead.
Gannon Burr will be teeing off after the break. We'll see you there.
If you want to know what a disc is going to feel like before you get it, you have to check out OTB Disc. The first thing I'm looking for when I grab a new disc is the feel of the disc. It's got to be confidence instilled. Virtually in your hand tells you what the disc is going to feel like, how heavy it's going to be. It's everything you want to know before it shows up to your house.
It's really, really helpful in not only finding a disc that looks beautiful, but is also exactly what you're looking for it to feel like. Of course, when you're dealing with OTB, you're going to get only the best.
Do you want a fantastic Vermont adventure that's close to home? Smuggler's Notch RV Village is the perfect getaway, surrounded by outdoor opportunities and beautiful views in the heart of Vermont. Make unforgettable summer memories. Smuggler's Notch RV Village is pet and family friendly. Get the most out of your RV this summer at Smuggler's Notch RV Village. Book your stay at Smuggler's Notch RV Village, Vermont's newest RV campground. Visit smugglersnotchrvvillage.com or call us today.
Allen's the best of the best. It's the quality, the craftsmanship, the vision for what a bag could be.
I don't think anyone's disputing that it's the best made bag.
Feeling great starts with a great shave. Today, the world is in the palm of your hand. Or at least this can is. For over 100 years, Barbasol. It's a can of can-do.
What is the simplest way to improve your disc golf game? The answer, learn from the very best. Paul Ulibarri, Simon Lizotte, Ezra Aderhold, and Holland Hanley. They're not just players, they are your elite coaches guiding you every step of the way. The Power Disc Golf Academy is the premier online disc golf academy with over 150 on-demand lessons that are specifically designed to improve your skills right now. So what are you waiting for? Join today at powerdga.com.
Isaac Robinson on the tee of 3 after back-to-back birdies to open.
This is no question the easiest hole in the course. I mean, you must birdie this hole, and that's why it's shocking to see Joey Buckets make bogey.
Green Mountain Championships here at Smuggler's Notch Resort, presented by Barbasol and Discraft. We thank them for our sponsorship. This is the lead card in the MPO division, a 3 o'clock starting card. First on the tee, joining us from Urbandale, Iowa. Let's give a warm welcome to Gannon Burr. Stepping into the box next. It's hard to count how many times he's won this tournament, but I counted him. It's 5 times since it was back in the B tier. He's also a 2-time world champion from Scottsdale, Arizona. Let's welcome Ricky Wysocki. Go, Ricky! Get in it. Next on the tee, from Safety Harbor, Florida. Let's give a warm welcome to Calvin Heimberg. And joining us today from Kuopio, Finland. Let's put our hands together for Niklas Antila.
Nice.
Good luck on the course today, gentlemen.
Thanks, Chris.
Good luck out there, Niklas.
Thank you. All right, everyone, please stay behind us.
Catching up now with Chris Dickerson. Throwing his second on the 4th.
Nice. Big drive to get there. A little bit late out of the hand. Had to get a little fortunate, but it did just that.
Should be an easy birdie for Barella on 3.
An even better drive from Kyle Klein. I don't think you can really set the disc in a better spot, but he does not get the turn on that approach. Gonna have to prove it from 50 feet.
Perfect start still intact for Robinson.
A bit of a stressful start for Gannon Burr. That forehand into the woods early, not out cleanly. How far exactly is this putt? Edge of circle, perhaps. Done.
Well, he keeps the bogey-free streak alive after playing 3 rounds last weekend and being very proud of that, as anyone should be. Certainly stressing out here.
I mean, last weekend's stats were ridiculous. I mean,
yeah.
averaged 1080 or something.
1087, I think. Wow. Up there in Toronto area. One of the highest rated tournaments of all time.
That's awesome.
Light work for Antala.
I was on the losing end of several of those 5 titles that Ricky Wysocki has here at the GMC. He came up here very early on and kind of dominated here for 5 years. And here's that tournament we were talking about, Sexton.
Yeah, unbelievable. I mean, Isaac Robinson beats his brother by 5, shoots north of 1050 average. And there's Gannon Burr's round ratings. 1092, 1075, 1094, bogey free. Unbeatable is the word I would use. I don't think you could hardly improve on a performance like that. Incredible golf.
And when we look at his season, as they said, plenty of titles out there that he's already collected, and we've talked about. His worst finish was 13th at OTB Open. Memorable moment, wins European Open after an epic battle with Ricky Wysocki, and has already set new records in terms of season earnings with cash totaling more than $117,000 and counting. Fair to say he's gonna put some more bands on that stack as it is.
Just that it said, how much time do you have under best finish? Okay, that was pretty good. Disappointing putt there for Klein, and really disappointing par from the perfect part of the fairway. Back on that tee pad of the same hole. Kind of look at that kind of angled tree as a really good, marker for trying to get your tee shot to.
Yeah, Isaac's shot's good, but still well short of where we saw Klein.
Yeah.
Good birdie.
Wysocki on the tee of 2.
The big danger here on 2 is out of bounds right. If you don't make it up the center part of the fairway and you pull your tee shot at all and you kick right, you're going to be OB and then stymied behind a bunch of trees at that point. So if you're going to make a mistake, you want to make it left. But ideally, you want to just try to pound one right up there down the center of the fairway. Try to use a little slope, kick it up to the right, just like that. Plays uphill the entire way here.
Usually count on that upslope to give you a little bit more of a right bounce than you might expect from those backhands. So low with power, like we saw from those guys, I think is the play. And then maybe flex forehand on the second is what the hole is really asking you for. Obviously, there's a lot of ways to be successful, but I think that is kind of the widest gap you could give yourself. Straight backhand into flex forehand.
Klein has now picked up pars on both 3 and 4. Looking for a birdie here on 5.
Bit of a weird reaction there. Kind of looked like an ace run to me until it hit those roots, but should still be pretty manageable.
Looks like Isaac's going to take the small gap here. Standstill. Great power.
Wow.
And great result.
That is a nasty shot.
Yeah. If you give any player 10 of them, that might be the best. From a standstill, that was great.
Should leak right to the pin, and it does. Bullseye hit for Dickerson.
A little overdone here from Ricky.
And he'll still have a chance to make that. I remember last year saying, or 2 years ago, oh, Rick, yeah, short right. He made it. Here on 2. He's got to look at the basket. He's got to look at making it, that's for sure.
See, over here on this left side, Gannonburr is the shortest, and that's an advantage now because he's not so pushed up into those trees on the left, making this shot at least possible. The other guys, as they push farther forward, that flex is not going to be as available to them. Nothing wrong with that.
This Brewster Ridge course requires really every facet of your game, minus maybe a backhand roller. You're going to see turnovers, sidearms, big hyzers. You need every little piece of the puzzle. I think you make a great point. I mean, you look at Antila's tee shot. He's in great position. There's almost zero chance he could throw a backhand from here.
I agree.
Without bringing OB right into play because it's OB all of the right side.
And the severe amount of angle he needs to put on, he did pretty well there. But as you move farther forward, it's asking you for even more chop. And that's just going to make that shot harder to hit correctly.
This is a birdie look.
Yeah.
He gets that one to fall.
That's a very New England putt up on top of the rock wall.
And that is powered by Nakwa as he catches right side chain, pulls it in. Big thanks to our friends over at Nakwa. As we say, lifestyle power.
Yeah, I was going to say, lifestyle power from Nakwa and standstill putting power there from Robinson.
Wow, fantastic from Calvin. His disc did scoot right just enough to not be behind that wall of trees. Perfect.
After that reaction that we discussed, we see Klein now with a birdie look. A little frustration coming from Klein. He remains at 2 under. Ricky gives it a run.
I think with Klein, we just saw him miss that putt. That frustration is stemming from the missed birdie on 3. Then the missed birdie opportunity from the center of the fairway on 4. It starts to build a little bit. Because that wasn't a bad putt. You know, it was high center. But that frustration, that's from, you know, holes previous.
And I'm sure he's pretty confused about how exactly his disc got where it got.
Right.
Just the right amount of speed for Antila.
Yeah.
And Macbeth, after the miss on hole number 1, picks up 3 consecutive birdies, 2, 3, and 4. That one just barely getting in. We're going to give that the Barbasol close shave replay. Definitely not right on the mark that he was looking for, but he's going to get away with one there. Dickerson on the tee of 6.
Just stays in bounds. A new out of bounds area on that short left side.
Exponentially more difficult to throw the backhand here, and Isaac does a really nice job at riding the left side. Had he hit any of those trees left and kicked left, he would have been out of bounds. So have a birdie look.
Down.
Isaac Robinson just has a knack for making the hard stuff look easy. It's just so smooth the way he carries himself. He's looking at a putt to be perfect 5 through 5 and just throwing some very, very difficult shots, but throwing them so perfectly that you kind of go, oh, it must not have been that hard, right? Because he's parked.
Exactly. I mean, a great example, the World Championships out at New London, hole 16. That long flexing sidearm. He was throwing backhand.
Yes.
And
making birdies. Yes.
And it's just that shot fits his eye. That kind of long, kind of turnover, but doesn't need a lot of space. So kind of that tree that Antela just hit is the one that we could only imagine that Joey Buckets hit and kicked deep into the woods.
Woo! Oh, thought he beat it.
Nice. That was better.
Barella, forehand on hole number 5. This needs to stay clean. Wow, fortunate that that kicked right. As you were just saying, Doss, if that kicks left, you're immediately out of bounds. Par looks good for Barella from back there as we're watching Chris Clemens close out.
Yeah, Chris, there on 18 making birdie, and he got an eagle here today on 13, a 2.
Wow. That's not a hole I don't know that I can remember a 2 there.
No, but it is in favor off the tee for a left-handed power shot.
Yeah.
And then still to throw it in from there, unbelievable.
It would have to be at least 125, 150 feet through a tunnel, even from the best drive I can imagine. That's cool. What a highlight.
We're hearing over 200 feet going into the pin there. So nice shot and a nice round by Chris Clemens. 8 under par. So Antela fortunate to stay out in the open. You could imagine had he just been about 30 feet more in the woods, might have to just chip out.
See if Barella has a line to the pin, and he doesn't. Or if he did, he didn't hit it. And now he's going to continue to scramble. That'll be for par at best. Dickerson, can he convert on the birdie look? The answer is yes. Chris in for birdie. Brian Earhart is out there on the ground. Brian, are we saying that hole number 3 is just too easy?
I mean, it seems so sometimes, but when you stand on that tee pad, it's a pretty demanding shot. I mean, they made that change, I believe, last year for the World Championships, and made a really easy hole quite a bit harder, but these guys are just real good. It's a low, kind of piercing driver shot with a little finish at the end. Yeah, nicely done by these guys.
And Wysocki is going to pick up the birdie. I'll be the first to say usually it is Heimberg coming in low when he misses a putt. It's often off the front of the cage. Anthony with his third.
Oh, no. That is perfect from Chris Dickerson. Way up there.
Barella with his fourth. This is for bogey.
I mean, to make a double without going out of bounds here.
Yeah, you would never in a million years draw that up or think that's even possible. So he's going to fall back to even for the round.
That's kind of one of those situations of you're walking to the next tee and you're going, what just happened? How? How is it? How?
Yeah.
And it just happened so quickly, too. Wow. That needs to slow down, and it does quickly. Nice backstop there for Isaac. Shot on 4 for Rick.
Oh, this could be pretty special.
Late tree kick
Catches
left.
a tree on the right.
You could even hear Ricky say, I thought I was past that tree, and takes a late kick.
Nice ground play there to slide forward, not catch any edge. Going to be really happy with that spot. That is kind of a disaster start for this hole. It's going to be way too far away and way too obstructed to get anywhere near the green. He's going to have to just kind of play for the original landing zone, I think, from there. He'd be happy to get it there, potentially get out of here with par, but major bogey danger for Niklas. I expect that is also going to be not a lot more than a pitch up. He's going to be pretty obstructed over there on that right side.
And Barella will bounce back with a 42-footer on 6 to chip away at the double bogey he just picked up on the previous hole.
Yep.
So certainly didn't let him rattle, get rattled too much, or at least if so, he's hit it pretty well with a bounce back birdie here.
I think with AB, he's so used to some of this kind of roller coaster type round stuff that, I mean, he's just always set for the next birdie to come his way.
Isaac picks up another one.
pretty fortunate window.
Yes, absolutely. And as you said, it's just fortunate so he could try to get back to the original landing zone. And he's not even going to do that. He's going to actually throw a pretty bad shot.
Agreed.
To be that far to the right now of this fairway, he's going to have to just chip and maybe make something from long distance for par. That could be a situation of he just took the best shot that he could try to make. Just get up the fairway as much as you can.
Sure.
Yeah,
That's a
Chris
solid
Dickerson,
shot.
yeah, will be left with that for a birdie.
This looks like a driver. I think this is pretty high risk. See if he can get comfortable here.
Yeah, I just think that Gannon's so used to just being aggressive from really almost any position that that's exactly what he's feeling. I mean, this tree is so much in the way, and that's exactly the danger of trying to play too quickly.
Or perhaps too aggressively.
Yeah.
Because what are you buying yourself here? It sure isn't a birdie.
Right.
You know, anything in the middle would put you in play for par. Obviously, I understand trying to make it as easy as possible on yourself. And hindsight is 20/20, but I think he's going to regret that play.
Well, you could see from the previous shot him going to this stance, getting away from that tree, and just popping a big turnover out up near that kind of bent tree up there.
Yep.
And then he quickly turned to a sidearm and threw, you know, within just a few seconds. That being said, he's can still get a shot up there. And I think really good would be edge of circle 2.
Oh boy.
I wonder if maybe there's something at play in the mind of Gannon Burr, as many times as he has run into problems with time on the course.
Yeah, good point.
When he sets up the backhand for a while, thinking, I think once he switched to that forehand, he's feeling a lot of pressure to get it out of his hand quickly and not to start that narrative again and not to have somebody from the PDGA come in and make that warning early in the tournament. So that could potentially be a part of these struggles right here.
I got to say, I mean, I have not been in these groups with Gannon. And we've covered him a few times when we've had some of the time issues. But most players are pretty willing to allow extra setup when you're in the real deep stuff. I think a lot of the time issues come from when you're just standing over putts for too long or basic shots.
Certainly.
I'm not saying that's happening with Gannon, but I'm just saying generally that's how the players will handle it amongst the groups.
I would absolutely agree with you. And the thing that I would say that has changed recently is the aggression of the PDGA.
Gotcha.
In coming in and making those calls. I don't think it would come from the group. I think it would come from an official following the card. And that's where I've seen it most in recent years. And they kind of are bound by the rule book. So they're not really able to give that gray area as much as the players are, I think, if that makes any sense.
It 100% makes sense. Little slip here from Gannon, but good power on it.
He didn't like it, but I kind of like it. It's a pretty good shot. He's going to get him up there with that chance to save bogey.
We're up ahead on 18. This is Ty Love trying to close out his round with a birdie and get to 10 under. Oh, and it just barely slides out.
That was a great putt from Ty. A great round either way, but would have loved to see that drop for him.
Yeah, 2 bogey 9 down for Ty Love.
True.
That's where you want to miss it. If you're going to miss this shot, push all the way pin deep on the other side of that wall. Lots of makeable looks from over there.
Yeah, similar where we saw Macbeth make his birdie putt earlier.
Almost great. Gonna have to get a little creative, I think.
You saw the approach from Dickerson. This is now the birdie look. No putting required for Heimberg. Alden Harris, currently your leader on the tee of 18, and it looks like it filters through. Trying to get it to a dozen.
What a round. That has to feel so good for Alden, because when you run with the crew he runs with, Robinson Brothers, Gannon Burr, those guys have been playing so well, and Alden has so much talent. But I think he probably would be the first to say he's been a bit disappointed with his season so far this year. Great time to turn it on and be up in the conversation. That if he can make that putt, you got to think he's in the conversation for the lead card.
Yeah, I would agree. Especially we're already seeing some of the big dogs struggle early on.
Yeah, Rick got a piece of the cage on that.
Talk about close shave. Here's Ricky Wysocki just barely nicking the basket there. Rick's thrown one in before on this hole. I go back a number of years, and I remember being out there as Rick tossed a long one in on that particular hole.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, Rick, it's like every hole out here, he's got some 80-foot make. He's a 5-time champion.
Yeah. Kind of every hole on the whole tour, to be honest
Exactly.
with you. You could probably go back into the history books and find a Ricky Wysocki 65-footer.
Antala is looking at a bogey now, or even worse, look at the roll he's got. Well, that's still inside the circle, so certainly makeable, but for hitting off the top band, that's not what he was expecting.
And this is not the easiest putt. This little slope right in front of these players is actually pretty steep. So you got to really make sure you get it up here. Gravity's going to be working against you. Nice job by Gannon.
So his bogey-free streak now comes to an end.
Oh, man.
Well, you could say it was easy to see the short miss putt from Antala coming with that uphill slope, but this one, nobody saw this coming.
I mean, that's just too much speed. I mean, Ricky putts fast or with a lot of speed, and these are great chains that normally catch it, but that time, just too much coming in for Rick. I mean, he's even above the basket, putting down. That is surprising to see. I feel like that should have stuck, but.
Certainly can question the speed. I agree with you. Coming in pretty fast. Don't like to see it still. But
and that's also just Ricky always puts with that.
Exactly.
Of course.
Exactly.
Just,
yeah.
He knows that could be coming at any time. Here's Alden for 12 under par. have to make that putt to stay without a bogey today.
Man, and even up there on 18, in order of tour points, that card we just saw, Corey Ellis, Craig Barsby, Sullivan Tipton. Like,
yeah.
it really is just wall-to-wall superstars out here.
And that one came in hot. Goes all the way past the basket.
There's not a lot of guys that have that forehand putter extended out to the kind of range Wysocki can use it. We saw it on hole 1. We see it again here. Huge weapon for him on these woods courses.
Yeah, and he's able to go with so much stability. And it's not like it's throwing a flex.
And there's no skip
right
worry. Like this shot here that Gannon's going to fit in. He's got to flex it, and now he's got to say, okay, stop, put on the brakes, because this is going to run a little bit. That's a good reaction, but you can easily see how if it catches something a little smoother, top of a root, not bark chips, you could be outside the circle, below the pin. Very nice, both of those guys. Using that flex to slow it down as much as one can slow down a driver.
Dickerson on the tee of 8.
This is one of the hardest holes out here. Big uphill par 5, and that's how you want to start it off.
Oh, yeah.
Don't be talking bad about that guy's forehand.
I don't think we talk bad about it.
I'm saying to
because
anybody
we never
out
get
there.
to
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah. Anybody out there, you got to know. It's in there.
Yeah.
He just doesn't need it very often.
Exactly. Yeah, it's hard to talk bad about something you don't see that often.
That's true.
Like James Conrad could have the best sidearm on tour.
Just
but
doesn't need
never
it too
needs
often.
it.
Yeah. What a shot from Isaac. Turning that thing the whole way. Really impressive.
And that's got to be a confidence boost for Isaac as well, right? I mean, all of a sudden you kind of go out of your comfort zone a little bit and still get the birdie. He's one missed putt away from, being perfect so far. Wow, Calvin really ran long on this one.
Yeah, I feel like there's just something to be said about coming in short and having it dive just before the basket, because these wood chips are so fast, along with just the hard pan of the ground. If the wood chips aren't there, it's maybe even faster, actually. So you have to be coming in with it slowing down prior to getting to the pin. Otherwise, it hits, and then this is the result. We saw this morning a couple times as well. Just low for Heimberg.
Good effort. Really awkward lie down there.
On the money for Wysocki. With that, we're going to take a quick break on the network. We'll be right back.
The Captain's Thrasher is a brand new mold that feels a lot like the Thrasher, but has a touch more overstability. I wanted something that felt just as comfortable as a Thrasher, but have the ability to fight a little bit more power and still get that full flex shot and gain me a lot of distance. I'm just so thankful for the opportunity to have a disc that I'm really proud of, and I hope that a lot of people are going to love.
The Parsec rangefinder is my favorite rangefinder on the market.
Yeah, we got a sweet case here for the Parsec, leading edge, MVP branded. It's got a little carabiner, you can clip it right to your bag or fit it in a side pocket.
The Parsec rangefinder definitely allows me to be more confident in my game. It gives me very consistent and accurate readings.
It measures in feet, so no like mental translations in your head required.
And USB-C rechargeable. They're golden. You can have this thing for years.
Power Grip is giving you the chance to win one of these, the Latitude 64 Project Grip Grace. Get all the details and learn how to enter at PowerGripUSA.com or PowerGripEurope.com.
Brought back by popular demand, Z-Lite plastic from Discraft. Disc that you already know and love, now available in lighter weights. Z-Lite, more distance with less effort.
And thanks to our friends at blackinkdisc.com, the premium disc golf store. Let's take a look at Nate's keys.
Well, clean tee shots, we've seen how important that has already been. If you're not clean off the tee, that's when bogeys happen. Circle 2 in regulation. Sexton, you were talking about how critical that is. A lot of Circle 2 opportunities today. And scramble rate, so critical when you get off the fairway. Can you still get back in the fairway and make pars? We have not seen that done very well so far. But guarantee that's going to be something you need out here at Brewster.
You all right?
This looks great. A little straight, but he's going to make it work. You could see it just straightening out a little bit. He had to go to the right at that last little clump of 3. I think with that OB left, these guys are going to be for sure making that mistake right.
Yeah, you'd love to straighten it out, given the option of straightening it out or sawing it off.
Yeah.
Certainly much safer to extend the shot just a bit.
Yeah, that's a new OB left of this basket.
See, I think this one might get down near it. No, still plenty of distance. But how close? I mean, the OB is in circle 1 to my eye.
Yeah, it looks close. Yeah, right near the edge for sure. But that new OB area has always traditionally been like a wetland. I'm wondering if just trying to protect the area.
Wow. Can't say much about that one. Just down the left side, turn the whole way. Wouldn't change a thing.
Take another look at this. This is our one-shot replay. And if you head over to One Shot Energy, you can use a discount code that we've got available for you. Again, that's at oneshotenergy.com. Use the code DGPT for 25% off.
So Terry, what do we got to do to get a couple one-shots here in the booth? I know you need one.
Yeah, I could go for one right about now.
do it.
Antala. Splashes in and out.
Man, that would have just been such a nice little jump start. Antala's had some struggles, and gosh, that was so close.
Close enough for a
I mean,
close
you
shave
need some
replay.
Barbasol there. That's
Antala is one of the best Circle 3 guys we've got.
Yeah.
Just got that same delivery, super dangerous from that long, long distance.
Well, that one is high out of Heimberg's hand, and you heard him, his displeasure with it upon releasing it. Here's Dickerson throwing his third right at the pin. This needs to slow down.
not surprised that had a little bit of heat. He had to make sure to hit that initial gap. He did perfectly. Starting to get into kind of worrisome range with Calvin on the putting for today's round. He's already missed a couple. He's got to make this one.
Yeah, you just feel like there's not a lot of danger. There's no wind. Brewster, to me, is just kind of sitting there going, show me what you can do with a putter. And the guys that are consistent, the Isaac Robinsons, the guys that are going to be just on the pole from 45 feet are going to feast.
There's Isaac with his second on the 8th.
And the camera just does not do this hole justice. It's so far uphill. Look how steep that is. Look, the camera's nearly pointing just straight down.
This hole doesn't give up that many birdies. Chris Dickerson going to go ahead and snatch one.
Yeah, 20% birdies today. They're on 8, like you said, Sexton. Not that many. Remember, there's only 100 players in the entire tournament.
And that has to be one of the hardest statistically on the whole course to make birdie on, I think, at 20%.
Not the worst of kicks that he received with that previous shot.
Again, not the worst kick, still in the fairway, but basically just reload and try again. I mean,
just think that kicks as you would maybe normally expect, and that's 100 feet to the left and completely out of play, and instead it pretty much kicks right back into the fairway for him. Now we'll see what he can do.
does it flip?
Does it have enough?
Okay, well, there's a chance.
Yeah, almost still circle's edge.
That would be some kind of par save.
Yeah, that's almost the vaunted double scramble, where you've taken 2 major tree kicks and still go with the par. That's a nice roll.
Yeah.
Good place to be.
Yeah, that tee pad that he just rolled in front of is a great spot. Kind of just a straight little putter shot from there.
I'd love to throw it out to Brian. Brian, where exactly do you feel like is the ideal landing zone here on 7?
Yeah, 7's really a choose your own adventure type shot. I feel like if you want to actually pure the hole, you got to throw a lot straighter off the tee. Kind of like what we saw Nicklaus try to do. Then you have at least a pretty open lane to the basket. But some players love rolling the dice and sawing it off early and trying to get themselves, kind of cutting the corner a bit. I kind of want to throw it back to Dawson, Sexton. You guys have both shot pretty solid rounds here. You guys like the dice roll off the tee? What's your thought?
I personally attempt to throw up the fairway, but very often end up accidentally rolling the dice and hyzering a little bit early. But there's a lot of scramble up there, especially for a forehand aficionado like myself. So I find myself kind of taking the road less traveled here, but not generally on purpose. It looks like this a lot. Starts out a little left. If he sneaks through there, there's birdies up there.
Yeah.
It's just you have to be creative with what you're going to do.
So I would also say that the camera doesn't do this hole that much justice either. It's a long way back down the same hill they just played up. And speed control so critical. And a nice job there by Chris.
The 9th is just long enough and downhill enough. It's just really, really difficult to still be flying straight, in my experience. Guys that throw a really powerful mid-range, Dickerson there, you know, our top players are going to show us. They're going to make it look pretty easy. But I'm just speaking from my experience. Getting it to go 380 and have like no lateral energy is a difficult thing to do.
Kind of just playing this one for par now. Just going to try to get it up in the range of the basket. Try to make something long for birdie, but par at worst.
Another thing about hole 9 being one of those newer cut-in holes, some of the worst rough on the course. If you do find yourself missing that gap, potentially falling on that left side, that's about as thick as it gets out here on Brewster, and you can really get tangled up.
Yeah, and I think we should, you know, new is a relative term, right? It's
Yes,
5 years
it's been
old.
in for a while,
Yeah.
but it's
You're right, though.
newer compared to the majority of the course.
100%.
Now this is my style of golf.
Yeah, you get Wisconsin vibes here, Tara?
Well, more of a off the fairway kind of vibes.
Oh, I see.
This is where Terry shines.
Yeah.
Try to pick a gap here. Gonna try to put some significant pace on this, I would think.
Triple hitter.
Shades of hole 4. He wants this in the right side gap, but he just pulls it over too much. He wants that slight flex. Just catches that center tree. If he can move the disc 6 inches to the right, I think he'd be very happy.
And from my experience, though that tree is right in the middle of his line, he's kind of assuming he's going to miss it, right? You're not saying, oh, I want to be 6 inches to the right of that tree. You just blast it, and if you miss it, you're on line. So a little bit unfortunate, but also he's just in a very difficult position. All right, just short of the big one, and nice shot.
After all that, can he save the par? Oh, and a good bid.
Man, shout out to Double G. Look at that. He's playing hole 18. He's 10 down. It's a good round by Garrett.
Can Dickerson go back to back with birdies on 8 and 9?
Very close. Getting 8 and 9 back to back is something pretty special. I doubt if 5 people are going to do that all day.
Garrett Girthy on the 18th going with a...
I almost thought it was a roller at first.
So did I.
think it might have hit something on the way to rolling and not rolled in the end.
Wysocki connects. My quick math tells me you said there would probably be less than 5. I think I found just one who picked up birdies on both 8 and 9, and that would belong to one Adam Hammis.
Okay.
So Adam, who's sitting 5 under through 11, looks to have gotten birdies on both 8 and 9, but he's the only player in the field to do so.
So as much as I love all these guys we're watching now, take it easy. Don't make a fool out of me.
So there's a star frame, pair of star frames. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's
On
what
8
I'm
and 9?
looking. That's what I'm looking to avoid.
Bounce back on 9. Tracking left, coming in hot, so he's going to have a long skip down. That's deep in circle 2. The question is, will he have an actual window to the basket?
All he needs there is just like 2 feet lower. There's a little upslope right before the basket. If the best shots I've seen hit that and check up. His hit the top of the hill and just rocket launch past the basket.
So that card's the birdie.
Antela with the only birdie over there. Rick in a similar situation to what we saw from Klein earlier, a perfect tee shot, walk away at the par. He's going to be frustrated.
Our first look at number 10. Many would say the signature hole on this course. 475 downhill, just like this. Very nice shot.
Checking in with Double G, who will be throwing his second on 18.
I think it was a misfire. I can't imagine throwing a roller here. You know, I know you guys were talking about it, but it just seems like a misfire. Just overplayed it to the right.
He's a creative shot maker, so I wouldn't put it past him trying some sneaky roller. But I tend to agree with you that it's an odd choice.
Right.
Just the way he swung through on it just looked like so much commitment to that Anheuser.
Yeah.
Macbeth on the tee of 9.
All right, can he hit that upslope that Sexton was talking about?
Yes, sir.
That's exactly what you were talking about. Hits the upslope, takes a little tree kick, and almost in the bullseye.
Just enough to put the brakes on.
Brian, we're here on the tee of 8 with Antela. And how far uphill is this tee shot, really?
Antela trying to push it up that hillside. Actually, not only does it challenge our players, this is one of the few spots on the course where our signal gets challenged sometimes as well. I think we'll hear from Brian, but we'll check in with him later.
I'm happy to step in for Brian and say, pretty uphill. Pretty uphill. It's not. It's nothing that's going to like get you super winded walking up to the pin, but it's unrelenting. You know, it's the long hole, and it's gradually up, 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 and it makes it difficult to like sustain turnover because you have to go nose up just to beat the hill. Tends to kind of let your disc run out of speed, and just staying in the middle is so important here because if you have to waste any shots pitching around, playing for position, kiss birdie goodbye, and you're one mistake away from bogey. Like, this is going to tail left a little more than, no, he's all right. I was worried it was going to start going left, but he actually got on top of that just fine. Plenty of power. That thing just keeps fighting up the hill.
After going deep, we see Robinson with his birdie attempt and grab some chain, but not enough.
And just check out that slope from that camera view. So steep.
Nice birdie from Chris.
Beth will birdie on the 9th.
This putt upcoming from Double G is definitely one that you could see him missing. Just around the edge of the circle. He's already struggled up to this point. Got to make this putt. Finish with a solid par. He is bogey free so far through the round.
Tough line. I think that little tree was right in the airspace he would normally use from that distance.
So he picks up the lone bogey of his round here on the 18th. Finished with a 9 under, still a very respectable round. Struggles continue with some early tree hits. McMahon on the 18th.
Okay, I promise you he wasn't throwing a roller there. It must be the camera view.
Yeah, you could be right. Eagle McMahon playing well, and we saw his name at the Open right there on that cut line for the top 32 and the championship. So you know he wants a nice finish. He's played well in Vermont in the past.
Yeah.
But he needs that big finish, kind of get back to who he is.
Right, and I think, you know, when you talk about Eagle, he's 32nd, but he also missed a significant part of the
Sure.
season. So I think overall he still played really well. He's certainly looking for that big W, and it could come this weekend. Smart play there from Onslaught. Stay controlled, keep it in the fairway.
Didn't quite get the turn.
And something added this year is OB left. And it looks like that's going to be still safe, but you see there's an OB line on that left side. That is new this year. And there was a conversation as to if it would really come into play or not, and I think there's our answer. It's not going to affect Robinson in this case, but it definitely can come into play.
Yeah, and it's just the way that that hillside kind of slopes. So if you don't put enough pop on it, it can come in to play real fast.
That's not a good kick for Calvin, and that's kind of how this hole goes. There's so many fairway trees. You try to play aggressive and really solve the hole in 2 shots, and you're bringing in the risk of those big kicks. I think these big throwers can almost start dreaming about a 3, and it can kind of bait them into making some potential errors by trying to put a little too much on this second shot. Let's see how Gannonburr handles it.
Pretty nice.
Yeah.
He didn't seem happy with it at first, or maybe even felt like he missed his line or something. But
I'm not sure he didn't miss his line. I was not expecting that low hyzer delivery, but I mean, far be it for me to question. He might have found a new gap there, and obviously it looked like it worked pretty well. He's going to, I think, have a pretty simple third.
I was going to say, this must be Rick's fourth, because we already saw him hit first available, and that's exactly what it is. Fourth shot.
Oh, boy.
on, dude.
I think about the fans. I think about viewing and let's get in the woods. That's where disc golf is. Come on, let's get back into the woods. And some of these players are saying, "Wow, this is this isn't the way it's supposed to go."
It's another very long downhill par 4.
And yet another sound of a tree getting cracked.
If that kicks left, he might have potential chance to kind of work his way down there for a look at the birdie, but wow. Beautiful putt.
Gonna roll the Zuka replay. Robinson, after going deep and left of the pin, just the right amount of turn on it to find then the bottom of the basket.
So, I mean, we could be seeing a double. That's a fourth throw, so I'm not sure where we're at with Rick. But easily could see a double coming for sure.
Calvin's third still has distance driver in the hand. Gonna try to play flex forehand. Not gonna get any flex, but that might be just fine. Good forward progress all the way up on top.
And I think if you're in this position after 2 shots, you're thinking, all right, let's just get the par here.
Yes.
At worst. So make the safest, hit the biggest possible gap, the safest possible throw. That way you don't take the bogey.
Oh, wow.
That is not the safest possible throw.
Some forward progress and a little bit of plinko.
I think the only thing I know is he's not parked. I don't know anything else. I know he threw it really high. Get through there? No.
You really see some of the frustrations showing here from the competitors today.
It's a clean 10 from Eagle.
Yeah, good day at the office, I think. Get things started up.
Yeah, circle 2 putting, perfect. C1X putting, perfect. You know, 50% of the greens in regulation, that's amazing as well.
Yeah, just remember, Eagle McMahon came in at 30 seconds, so just barely inside the line in terms of making it to the Tour Championship if it were all to end right now. He's moved up 9 spots as of right now into 23rd.
And as well as Eagle played, I think he's still a Fox Run guy. at his core.
Yeah.
I remember at that World Championship 2 years ago, I think he might have been putting down like -14 or something like that on Fox. Just incredible numbers. So he's positioned himself very well.
Ricky almost throwing it in to save bogey. Matt Oram throwing a second on hole 11. Matt Oram definitely.
Go in.
Oh, just off the front. I was going to say, I don't know if we have it, but Matty O threw one of the best shots ever on this hole a few years ago. As we take a look at a long eagle bid off the cage.
This hole agrees with Matty O.
And I was thinking of it from personal memory. I really didn't know if they had it in the queue, but here it is. 2022, 2 years ago. This is exactly what I was thinking about.
And I want you to watch this shot because he let the disc do the work. And it did some work, that's for sure.
Look, yeah, all the way down. One of the best shots I remember ever seeing in disc golf history, honestly. To stand on this tee and then to know where he finished,
yeah,
it's just, it's almost unbelievable.
I would say I've seen that highlight 50 times, and I still don't understand how you lay that down from 620 feet downhill through the woods. Incredible.
I agree with both of you, and I've also seen that shot from other players, not that close.
Sure.
But you've seen it down there in that 100-foot range.
Yep.
And I just was wanting the fans to watch it at home because when we get up to that hole, the big mistake players do is try to turn it right out of their hands.
Mm-hmm.
You have to throw the dish straight and let it work right.
Yeah.
Matty O did it perfect.
Drift it down there.
Yeah.
Chance for Calvin to right the ship. Hit a big putt.
You mean like that?
Just like that.
Circle 2 connection for Kelvin Heimberg.
Great birdie. After that bad kick, gets the forehand up here and connects.
Just raw emotion, just oozing out of him. That looks like he made it for like double bogey, right? Like just the look on his face is like, yeah, I made it, and it was for double bogey.
You get a brief burst of how he really feels in the 1 second after he wins a tournament. It's just
Yes.
1 second long, and you get to see it. But a stoic guy, and a guy who, we've spent a lot of time talking about how the putt comes and goes for how talented he is, but you got to say there's no give up in him. No matter how many he misses, he's just as likely to come back and knock down a big one the very next hole.
Joey Buckets collects back-to-back birdies.
Yeah, this for par. This for par after the sky shot on shot 2. So wherever it did end up, it sure worked out.
Yeah, for experts only is what we should put on that clip. Throwing out of the woods and trying to go high. Dickerson scrambles and makes par. Now let's see how Klein's doing. Okay, just one down here on 11, though this is for birdie. So, man, early on we saw him a few under par and missed all those putts. Just has not been able to get back going, but that's a nice birdie.
Inches from another eagle.
Yeah, I'd love to know the count of how many people have 2 eagles on that hole. One is already one thing, but to be in the club of having 2.
Gannon, you know, still attacks some of these holes in a way that's very different to almost all his competitors. He's showing us that really exaggerated flex play with the overstable disc. I expect we're going to see these other guys go more point to point. And that is a critical slip by those trees, because that is the recipe for how you find that really thick rough on the left I was talking about. A little late out of the hand, contact with that tree on the right. Go ahead and write down a bogey.
So ideally, you're able to release with just a little bit of hyzer, let the disc just come up to flat, and check into that front hillside. And that's just an immediate misfire.
Yeah, this is going to come in just short and maybe scoot up to the edge and just barely over. Nice mid-range, slower speed disc there for Wysocki. He doesn't love it. He's still frustrated about the previous hole, but looks like he's going to bounce back with a birdie.
I think that entire group is frustrated about at least 1 or 2 things throughout the day so far. Because, again, it's not as if needing to be at double digits is a secret. Look, there's already 4 dudes sitting at double digits. Not bad.
Yeah, plenty of distance there. First look at hole 12, par 3, 430, going downhill blind, straight as you can throw it.
Just outside of the circle for Dickerson. He needs to keep this clean, because if he hits something and kicks to the right even more.
This will be just a crazy save, and that's not going to happen.
Gannon's going to want to hit this about circle's edge short on Anheuser.
Hold.
It's pretty good.
Casey White on the tee of 18, sitting at 10 under.
And if we've mentioned it, forgive me, but this is a longer basket here this year on 18. You can see it's now playing at 400 feet. And I think that's why we're seeing, you know, we're so used to seeing birdies here. And by pushing it, the players have had to try to throw it a little harder off the tee shot.
I'll double check. I don't know if if it was significantly added in terms of distance more than just the angle. With it being pushed off to the left, as you're saying, I think the distance is almost the exact same.
Tougher though.
But definitely tougher, as we're seeing a lot less birdies there, certainly.
Just a layup from Calvin here. Tells you something about how steep that hill is behind the basket. Probably not wise to take a stab from 50 plus.
And same could be said here for Gannon, having to go to a knee off to his right. I mean, anything off the basket, especially with the amount of heat that he puts on it, it's going to be at least 20.
save.
That deserves a fist bump from the group. That's a tough one.
Perfect drive from Wysocki.
I feel that.
And now with Chris and his birdie look on 12. Casey with the opportunity to tie for the lead, along with Alden Harris. Oh, so looks like he's going to close out with a close shave replay, thanks to our friends at Barbasol.
And last year, according to my research, this hole played 344, and so now playing 400, so roughly 60 feet longer and more back into the woods. Nice round for Casey. Clean 10, assuming he makes that happen.
And what a start, 7 through 7. Get your playoffs going.
Yeah, exactly.
Casey White currently up 9 spots in the playoff standings.
Can't be on that right side, Rick. Gonna get shut down there.
The amount of discs that have hit those small branches on that right side is astronomical.
I bet you it's higher this year too, because the specter of that out of bounds, just in the back of your mind, like you cannot let it tower and fall left.
Nope.
So I bet you those trees come into play just that little bit more with that added challenge.
Yeah, and in fact, you might even, make the argument to completely change up your game plan. Try to throw something that flips and really power it down that left side and just not let it go left at all. Kind of like this, but that's drifting
This
left.
is in danger, isn't it?
That's going to bring OB into play for sure.
And off the stake and out to my eye.
I would agree. I love the initial line. But the fact that it's drifting so quickly, and I just want to make a brief observation about Gannon. On the previous hole, he threw that tee shot, I thought that was perfect, and it was way offline. Now here, it's drifting immediately left towards the out of bounds. So I think even Gannon a little bit confused about his game today.
Good shot from Calvin down on that right side.
Seems impressed. Whoa. So high, but gets over the tree.
Can it stay straight? Kind of can. Interesting line.
You don't see players often going over that branch, but able to make it work. This is Gannon's.
I think we heard Gannon say that should be inbounds, and he's going to get up here and realize that it is not.
Yeah, and the stake, it was going left.
I agree. Out of bounds either way.
The stake in that case could have only saved him. I don't think it made it worse as far as out of bounds is concerned. Well, Isaac is locked in. After you get past that 11th hole and you're playing well, you just got to ride the momentum on this course because there's still a lot of birdies to have and a couple of easy holes coming up, but also some challenging ones as well. But you got to ride that momentum, just stay aggressive and continue to make birdies. Great look at the kind of how the OB looks from this angle.
I need a spot. Right here, right by the stake.
So I think this is an interesting example of the players using their best ability of making the call without a spotter there to say exactly.
Yeah, and this one happens to be spot on, so to speak. I mean, exactly where it had gone out after hitting the stake. And that's going to give Gannon a look to possibly save the par.
See, I thought it hit the next
Me
stake
too.
forward.
Oh, I would agree with you.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think he's got a little bit better look from here than maybe he would from 15 feet to his left.
Sick. What a putt. What a putt.
So few people could make a putt of that style, right? That distance from one knee.
And to not fall forward, right? We would see most players do that diving, launching putt, you know, like a Ricky would do, Macbeth would do. And for Gannon, able to just stay so centered and just use those long limbs and release online. That was an amazing par save.
Also, right on the pole for Antala.
Great birdie from Calvin.
Rick kind of hesitates as that one falls into the basket. Here's his second shot on hole number 13. Joey Anderson.
I mean, Joey's at 5 down. He's birdied 6 of his last 8 holes. We saw that bogey made back on 3, so riding the momentum nicely as he heads towards the latter half of the back 9, and that's a great look at birdie for him. This is such an Isaac shot. That little flip up, and he hits the last one. That's one of my favorite holes out there.
It's a cool hole.
I really like that kind of just soft flip-up shot.
And what do you guys feel like it actually throws at, you know, knowing that it's downhill? What is the distance? 425, but plays 350?
350-ish. And 400-ish is out of bounds. So you can certainly have – I've definitely played with people who have let it get away from them a little bit too high, or people who feel like they want to go driver for whatever reason. That OB will creep up on you.
Come on.
Yes. I was just about to say when he hit that tree, does this guy care if it's 28 or 42? I'm not sure that he does when he's having one of his good days.
I think 42 is exactly as comfortable as 28, if not even more. That little single step putt, you know, we saw it. Hole number 1, hole number 2. Like it's so comfortable for him. Here's Ezra Robinson from shallow circle 2.
There he goes. Got to shout out the coordination on the outfits, too, from the brothers.
It was definitely a topic of conversation.
Or they shopped at Hot Topic. I don't know. If you're old enough to go to the mall for that one.
Terry, you're going even beyond the stores in a mall. There's no more malls.
Okay. All right, for all you youngins out there.
A mall's a place
Amazon,
where there was a lot of stores in one place.
Matty O knows. Picking up a birdie there. This is his third birdie in a row. Seems just a step inside the circle. Matty O getting warmed up. He's got a title defense next weekend at the MVP.
Oh, horrible ground play for Rick.
Old man.
See, it's starting to catch up with Ricky. He's getting frustrated. He's got to try to find some positive, something to sort of attach to, right? I mean, playing in the woods, not getting out of them. So you really just want to try to drive this thing straight and let that disc turn. This looks nice. Can he miss the trees?
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Skip.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, we need catch cam to get out of the way. And look at that. Inside circle, too.
Oh, and with his putting, that's a higher than 50% chance that we're going to see an eagle. Done with perfection here. Look at how he didn't force it over. He threw it flat, let the disc just slightly turn, and then it's all just about the slope of the hill.
It's just a thin line. You can easily turn it. Most people overturn it, because you don't want to go where Rick did. It's just such a thin line to turn it beautifully, perfectly, and then the disc still has enough time to kind of start to fade back and catch that forward skip.
Yeah, I got a loop.
This is the jump start potential for Gannon Burr. Wow. Did that disc hit the tree?
I'm not sure.
It had so much wobble.
What a backhand. Working it around that corner.
Buckets for his fourth birdie in a row.
Count it.
Stringing them together. Now moves to 6 under.
Yikes. This is, I get so worried about being super aggressive here.
Yeah, super aggressive. Yeah. Just slinging it. And there's something to be said for that sometimes if you feel like the gaps are all tiny anyway.
I mean, that's what I was talking about with Gannon back on, what was it, 7?
Sure.
Where you're just thinking, yeah, the tree's in the middle of the gap, but what do I care?
If somehow I get through, at least now there's birdie in play. Whereas
Exactly.
if you kind of come off the speed, who knows? I mean, we haven't seen it work well today, I'll say that. These guys trying to power up from off the fairway.
This one feels a little bit more attainable because there's definitely some bigger gaps here for Calvin to go full power.
Wow. Edge of circle. Maybe something to be said for just trusting yourself when you're in that 10-50 neighborhood as well. Like, even if I hit the first tree, we're going to have another difficult shot, and then we're going to put it down there to the circle anyway. Nice from Rick.
Yeah, that putt also could be a jump start putt for Ricky. Right? Still frustrated off the tee, but he can make a circle 2 putt, and now he can start getting it rolling.
I would have expected forehand from Joey here, to be honest with you. But that's a pretty good result.
You like the forehand there on 14?
I do, but I tend to like it a lot of places, even somewhere maybe I shouldn't.
It just
but,
seems like a kind of a tight.
It is a little bit, but he is. I mean, Joey has a great. He can. That's the problem. He can throw it so well both sides. You know, dealer's choice, and you can't argue with the result. He's got himself a circle 2 look on a difficult par 3.
And Dickerson trying to decide how he's going to get to the pin. This is his second on 14.
This is your territory, Terry, right?
Yeah, this is 0 out of 10 recommend.
I like Chris's odds from here. He's not that far from the basket. I was wrong. Okay, for Eagle, 49 feet.
I think it's fair to say he was thinking about how big an eagle is on this hole. I mean, that was a terrible attempt out of Gannon Burr, which we never see, right? He was already thinking about how cool it is to say he eagled that hole.
Sure. Not all putts are created equal, and I will agree with you. One of the worst efforts we've seen from him, and that speaks more about how consistent he's been. There's a great putt. Than anything about that putt being altogether terrible. I just think we expect him to be on the chain, certainly.
Exactly, yeah.
I think it goes even one step farther in saying if we had these stats of air balls from 50, his is very low.
Yes.
He's always all over the pin. So I think definitely a nervous putt there from Gannon.
Nice back-to-back birdies for Niklas.
What a par save.
Pretty incredible from back there.
Gannon will still collect the birdie, which is certainly the bare minimum after that drive. See if Dickerson has any magic in his hat here.
He's going to need magic to save bogey.
And that's going to be frustrating on one of the shorter holes that's out there. Robinson making it look easy. Double bogey coming for Dickerson. About the same distance for Anderson for birdie. Orem for par.
Wow. What a strike.
It's a great example of really how far it is from this gap from the opening. Just about 60 feet. Nice putt there from Matty. It's just that first tree as you're going up the hill on the right side. That's the one I feel like affects the sidearm so much.
Yeah. You can go on the right side of it if you really want to.
Oh, you can? Okay. Oh, boy, and Isaac's going to be over there in Dickerson land.
Yes, a difficult spot to be short right.
As Sexton was mentioning earlier, the OB long of this pin, just about 40 feet long.
Not much going right for Ricky Wysocki. You can see it, and he's even been vocal about it.
And it's just on this hole, you have to get down into the green area. This is one of the widest fairways. And so for Ricky to misfire there is a little bit surprising.
And this is also a misfire. This is getting pretty far. Wow, it kind of worked out. It got farther right than I expected. I think he hates it. It's certainly you don't want to see that much hyzer.
I just think he's a little lost in his game today. Just not exactly pinpoint. But again, his bad rounds are still somewhat decent.
A little bit. Ooh, a good kick. There's going to be a little bit too much left. Yeah, what a kick.
Right to the pin for Antala.
This looks really good. Can it miss that last one? Yes, it can.
Green flag, beautiful shot. It's probably the most critical tee shot on the course, I think, with all the out of bounds that you're dealing with there.
Yeah, you're throwing from OB, having to get onto a rock island, rock surrounded island anyways. Bogey potential for Isaac.
Rick has to be careful with the speed here.
So you can see about the first 100 feet of the shot is you're in out of bounds, and then that rock wall is the defining point of the green, or, you know.
Yeah, the inbounds area.
Yeah, the inbounds area. Thank you, Terry.
What a shot.
400 feet. Bullseye.
That was Isaac to try and save par. So albeit disappointed with the release, it looks like Burr's going to step up and still card the birdie.
That looked like extra pace even for him to get under that low branch.
Wysocki come back, look for par, and he'll do just that.
Oh, wow. Came off the hand a little bit ugly and just could not crawl over that front rim for Heimberg.
So that was actually Isaac's second shot there, and when we caught up with him, we had missed actually that shot. So this is going in for double bogey instead of what we initially thought was a bogey.
Wow.
So a double for
Man,
Robinson.
so that's going to
Isaac.
drop him back to 7 down. He's going to, at this point, have 3 bogey strokes on his card.
Off the top for Anderson.
Ooh. And rolled, a little scary towards the OB long. All right.
Jumper for Gavin Babcock to close out. Fully committed as he runs it down. What a great way to finish your day.
Man, Isaac was the one guy in these last 2 groups that was really creeping up the leaderboard. All of a sudden, he's been knocked back. God. All right. Still in the middle, but boy, that would have been another 50, 60 down the fairway.
It's that little bit of turnover that undid that shot, in my opinion. You want flip up, yes, but actual turnover with the forehand moving left, not a good thing. You're going to run into that back wall too soon.
Just kind of aiming at that big, dark tree on the corner.
Yeah, see, this one got flat, but it didn't go left. And that's going to push it a little bit farther down. A little too tight, but he's way down there. He's going to have to get creative.
Yeah, there's a bridge down there that if you can get down near it, that's always one of the best of the week. This is way too far inside.
Oh, man. That was a surprising amount of hyzer out of the hand of Wysocki. I was kind of thinking that bridge was in danger with him stepping up to this tee pad. That's when you really know you threw it well. You do occasionally see guys down under the bridge or even beyond the bridge.
Ezra Robinson has a birdie look on 14.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh. I wonder what his brother would pay for that score.
Yes. 4 of his last 5 to get to 5 under.
Needs to hurry up and go right.
Just about pin high on the left side.
I just got to say that I think at times some people don't give Brewster the credit it deserves. You know, because it's shorter on a distance perspective. Guys are shooting 10s, 12s. But look at how it challenges the players. They've had to throw backhand turnovers, sidearms, backhand hyzers. It really challenges every level of the game. And I think it's a great design.
And I think it's perfectly fine for one of the things that isn't particularly challenged to occasionally be distance.
Right.
There's going to be all kinds of courses, you know, and certainly it's not the hardest course you're ever going to play, but I think the guys, by and large, love competing on this course, and it stood the test of time. And they, like with all the courses, it's incrementally harder every time we come back. But just what a beautiful setting and great place to be playing disc golf.
And one of the best parts about being in this part of the country and out in nature is just taking it all in. And thanks to our friends at LL Bean, we're going to stand down and just listen to the natural sights and sounds. Hopefully you enjoyed a little slice of raw nature brought to us by LL Bean, who believes that being outside is good for us in every possible way. Visit llbean.com today and be an outsider. Oh, Chris Dickerson is outside of the circle here. Oh, and that one he gets to drop. That was right at the edge of circle 2 on the back side.
Not a chain moved. Watch this.
Oh, I gotta see this.
This is insane. Like, no chain at all. No chain. I've never seen it. Crazy. Crazy. Look at that was hilarious and really cool. I mean, I've seen them flip over the front rim, but then they still tickle the chain at some level.
And that went in with some speed.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so Gannon was way up there still and did get creative, so he's in the gap. Going to have to make a putt still. Just got to say, Chris Clements two'd on this hole from roughly 200 feet. And look at how tight it is as you head into the gap. And that's a nice shot there from Calvin to be able to scramble. Pretty cool, too, for Chris Clements.
So Anderson did get to pin high left side. Too much on it.
I think that putt right there proves our point on the eagle putt from 2 holes previous. That was roughly 50, 55. Still got basket.
Yep. as usual, from Niklas Antila. I feel like we've seen him hit 3 to 5 of those 38-footers so far today.
So we're seeing none of these guys better than 6 under. There's a 14-way tie at 6 down. So that's kind of like the average for the field, right around that 20th position. See if these guys can't creep in front of that. And AB only even in today's round. He'll be 1 under.
Moving the right direction with that little bit of redirection.
You can see Bucket's in that tie at 22nd.
17, one of the easier holes on the course, especially if you get a kick like that.
Also see a wardrobe change. He's officially added the hat. He had started without it, and now he's got it on.
Did it get delayed in shipping or something?
I don't know. That's
Is
like
Amazon
the rally
now delivering to the course.
It's like the rally cap that we see at baseball games. I'm not sure, but he did not start the round with it.
That's close to out of bounds.
Yes, I agree. I saw a flash of a disc hit a rock, and that rock wall is out of bounds. I think it's really difficult for our fans at home to kind of picture this shot, Sexton.
Yeah.
I mean, really, what are we looking at?
Yeah, it's a really hard par 3. It's uphill through the tight gap to start and then very severely to the right. So these backhands, I think, are looking for circle 2 at best. You're not going to wrap it all the way up to where the pin is. That's a really good shot. I think the place that you really need to avoid is where we saw Dickerson and Robinson get in trouble. Short and right. So many tree trunks in between you and the pin. Roller. That's going to be that short right area.
Absolutely. He's just hoping he stayed just enough on the edge to where he can kind of stretch out and try to make the corner still. We saw Dickerson throw the roller. That was how he ended up right. So that gap right there, that should put him up there about circle edge.
Yeah, long,
but still with kind of a tree or two in the way.
Yeah, I would say that's about as good as I can imagine that backhand playing.
Without some kind of kick. Or
yes.
What a great kick for Buckets in the fairway. Just got to control the speed. Oh, this looks really nice.
Should just be a putter. That will be an easy birdie.
All right, Paul with a putt. 4 down. This is one of the reasons why 17 is one of the easier par 4s on the course. I mean, this is a pure shot from Dickerson, obviously, but he's just got about 160 left to the basket, maybe 170.
Very nicely done. See the pin up there on the right through that little skinny gap. Kind of center of the screen, to be honest with you.
Wow. Yes, sir.
Otherwise known as right there.
Yes. That was a fantastic shot. This is a weird spot to find yourself on 17.
Yeah, it's when you don't you kind of get caught up in those corner trees, kick left. Come on.
Did it fall out?
No, it
it's
stayed in.
It's black, so it's kind of blending in, and he's going to go retrieve it. Left side corner pocket for Matty O.
I was expecting a charge towards the basket. He kind of scared me when he stayed back here. Just hangs on.
It was a great reaction with the fist pump, and then subdued afterwards. So anti.
Yeah, Matty O changing it up on us, right?
Exactly.
Guy keeps us guessing week in and week out.
That's right.
Good recovery from Gannon.
And that went a long way past the basket. He's another 20-25 long now for his par.
Couple opportunities slipping through the fingers of Heimberg and Wysocki there. That's a special birdie if you can pick it up.
And you called it, Doss. This is just about circle's edge.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see the whisker just behind his left foot there.
Bewildered.
Pretty quiet amongst the four here.
It's a really interesting start to our playoff here as you look at our leaderboard, bottom right corner. It's not the usual suspects today.
No.
And I don't think many of these guys have, you know, it would take perfection from this point forward for any of these guys to feature, to move themselves up into our top two groups.
Yeah, I mean, Dickerson's the closest. If he can birdie here, he'll go to 9. And he'll have a look there. But it was, you know, you were thinking, gosh, Isaacs, I mean, he's going to be lead card probably. And that double derailed him big time, and just sneaking through on that left side. It's not going to be the easiest shot from there, but it's not a lot of distance to the basket.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine. A little hyzer putter would be my expectation for what he's going to have left.
So you kind of just want to pick a fairway driver here, something that you can throw and just kind of let it just slowly drift. You just want to hit this line and then just slowly let it drift to the left. Play a little ground play at the end. You really don't want too much flip up because that can bring those backside trees into play.
Oh, yeah. Good shot.
Gannon likes it, and Antala is going to like it as well.
Inside.
Stays in bounds for him. But he's going to be obstructed, and his best bet at a birdie is going to be something that lofts way up and over probably. Beautiful.
As you said earlier, I mean, Gannon taking just a different view of the shot, throwing that little flex. You do not see a lot of players trying to throw an immediate flex because these early trees don't allow for a lot of that space.
Oh no.
That's going to be immediately to the drop zone. The drop zone is at the first available inbounds spot here on this hole. It's a designated drop zone if you don't get inbounds off the tee.
Basically a guaranteed bogey. Ezra with his second on 17. Pretty much a perfect drive, setting himself up for this. Gets a little kick, and that'll be a tap-in birdie. Klein has a birdie look. Oh, and he hits it.
Wow. Oh, boy, look at his scorecard.
So picking up 3 bogey strokes on 14 and 15, but erases them to close out on 16, 17, and 18. Not quite the day Klein was hoping for, but does finish with the turkey. Here's Heimberg from the drop zone. And I said guaranteed bogey. That's at best.
Yeah,
this is still tricky.
Pretty heavy on the turn. Yeah, it didn't really extend how he would like it to. It looks like he snuck underneath that wall of little trees. So he'll have a tester putt.
Dickerson's birdie look.
All right, so he had just enough space for the arm swing.
He kind of threw that soft, though.
Yeah, I think it was just that tight little arm swing. Yeah, just enough to kind of make it happen.
And this is what I was talking about. If Rick has any chance, he's going to have to put it up and over these trees, and he hits the basket.
What, from 100 feet probably?
And that will make Rick any happier, I promise you. Because he wanted that to go in. It's like, for Rick, it's like he's going uphill into a headwind.
I just can't imagine finding my drive there and going, well, let's try to get this bird. Like going up and over with the tall basket. I mean, just a guy who always in attack mode.
Were you surprised at all to see him throw a sidearm?
I am, yes.
From that drop
yes,
zone?
I definitely am.
Yeah, it's an interesting play to just because the way the fairway kind of naturally falls.
Yeah.
You would think a backhand would be the best shot.
I think either one could certainly work, but yeah, I was expecting backhand. Antala and Burr with a good birdies there, and they've still got a chance to make that late push. If they can find a way to birdie these last 3.
And Macbeth will collect the birdie on 17. Also good balance there to not fall forward.
60% of the field birdied here on 17 today.
Wow.
You know, we still have another group to come through, of course, but
yeah, but to this point, that's more birdies than any other hole on the course.
Yeah. Yeah, even more than, you know, hole 3, which we were saying is one of the easier holes.
Yeah.
Oh, and he knew it. Doesn't even need to watch it go in. On the pole the whole way. Oram finishes back-to-back birdies on 17 and 18, the no look.
Yeah, and he made a huge one on, what was that, 13? No, 14.
Yeah.
That big 60-footer. So definitely making some good putts to finish this round.
That's just about perfect from Niklas.
The sidearm here just makes so much sense. I mean, obviously it's going to the right, so you would think. But it's just that a sidearm is dying down versus flying like a backhand would sort of be flexing. It's just much easier because you're playing so far downhill. Camera doesn't do a lot of justice here, as we've said a couple of times.
Yeah,
so
hard
you're able to
keep
just
the
use
backhand.
that kind of ground play.
The backhand wants to go long.
Yeah.
Of the basket for sure.
Oh.
Stays in bounds.
Just when we thought things couldn't get much worse, had that gone out of bounds, that would have been, we would have seen quite the reaction out of Wysocki, understandably so. Here's Heimberg. And he again cuts this one short. We've seen that a few times, and it's still going to leave him with a putt for birdie, but missed his line. We're going to take a quick break on the network. We'll be right back.
Got a good thing coming, and it's all I need. Everything I wanted is in front of me. It's a good.
What's up? I'm Raven, Team Zuka. Here's what's in my cart. All my main discs are in this bottom compartment, easily accessible at mouth and eye level. My treats are in the side pockets up there. It's inconvenient, but good for self-control. A feature I'm iffy on is those unpoppable foam tires. I have tried. They don't pop. But my favorite thing about my cart is when my mom grabs it, I know I'm going O-U-T. And there's squirrels out there.
I think the Blackwell Pro is the best practice basket I ever had at home. What I love most about this basket is that it catches really well. It's kind of exactly what you want. If you're looking for a great solution for a practice basket, Blackwell Pro.
Some of my favorite discs in my bag are the A-Series discs. They're the ones I lean on to get close to the basket. These are torque-resistant discs, provide a consistent fade at the end of the flight. The best way to find your flight is to get out and use these discs yourself.
Calvin's going to be pretty happy with this result, I think, as he was really inside but filtered all the way down here. See if he can pay it off, get out of here with a birdie.
Yeah, you can, I would call it a bonus birdie with the release point, like you said. Maybe the better term is just unexpected.
Fortunate.
Yeah, fortunate, yeah. This might go down in history as Ricky's worst round at Brewster. Of course, I don't have those stats. Just kind of going off the cuff here, but
he hasn't had many bad ones.
Yeah,
we know that.
and it just, you know, it's not as if he's even had that many bogeys. I mean, he did have the double on the par 5, but just not that many birdies. So used to him just getting rolling. Why didn't you step?
Isaac was definitely second guessing himself on the birdie putt, but then makes the comebacker for par. And we're going to take a look at Nate's keys for closing, brought to us by blackinkdisc.com, the premium disc golf store.
I was already saying it. You got to ride that momentum. I think Matty O did that about the best we've seen so far. Fairway hits have been critical. We've seen Ricky just missing fairway after fairway. An aggressive game plan. This course, there's no laying back in the final 5 or 6 holes. You want to stay aggressive because you need to continue to make birdies.
Onto a tee of 17. This gravel road will lead you right to a birdie, and he looks to be following it.
That was a nice little rock. The more left you go, you kind of were dealing with what Isaac's dealing with. But also, that's not that bad.
Yeah, I think it's better than the alternative. Pushing too straight into those trees dead ahead is a trickier birdie save than coming out of the woods on the left side.
Right. I mean, the perfect shot is just barely missing those trees, basically.
That's probably fine. He missed enough of them, moved a little left. Gonna have to go with maybe that little flex, but we know how much he loves that shot shape.
Very nice.
Yeah, good reaction. Getting back to the road. Nothing in his way from there. This is like putter.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I kind of like it. You know, trust yourself. Just make sure you stay in the middle. But I think most guys are kind of going speedy here, trying to work it around the corner.
Most guys are trying to make it the shortest second shot possible.
Well, we're going to take a look at our Birdie Zone, brought to us by Birdie Pro, the best-selling disc golf board game in the world. Get yours at your favorite disc golf pro shop or at BodaBrothers.com. And looks like a little elbow you guys are seeing. We always see tweaks. There's been a couple for this year. Does this hole need to be tweaked whatsoever on the MPO side, or is it just okay? I mean, some hole has to be the easiest on the course, right?
I think it's in danger of a change. I think it's an easy candidate to look at and go, hey, what if the tee was 30 feet farther back? Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. You got to love the green here as we're running down the fairway, just kind of following the gravel road, as Sexton was saying. You've got this short corner. If you get down in here, low left, we've seen a lot of guys get down in there. That can be a tough par. And even in that one, and you got that clump on the right, but you can kind of scramble from there. And this is where Isaac was over here. But you got to love the green on this one. So I think, like you said, maybe just a tee moving back 30 or 40 feet, forcing a longer straight shot before that bend left.
On our drone preview, brought to us by our friends over at FlightFactoryDisc.com. Make sure you check them out. Running a special on some Halloween discs, and use the code GMC 2024 to get some great discounts as we're watching Perfect Approach by Wysocki.
Would you call that a professional birdie? Right? I mean, to just go putter to place.
Sure.
Putter to place.
Sure.
Not blast.
Not baited into trying to do anything special, just keeping it simple. And I think, well, of course it's true that some hole always has to be the easiest hole on a course. I don't think 60% birdies is what anybody's looking for. So I would not be surprised at all for this hole to be changed just a little bit. I think in a perfect world, your easiest hole is probably still coming in at 45% birdies or thereabouts.
Yeah, and I would say that old 18 was probably in that 60% range, and Jeff moved it back 40 feet, 40 to 60 feet. And this conversation is probably happening amongst them as well to push that one back. They do have some space there on that road. And, yeah, we'll see.
Just heard Gannon talking about how that baby flex is his favorite shot in all of disc golf to throw.
Skip onto the wood chips, and you can go grab a bag of chips or do whatever you need to do, because we're going to take a quick break on the network. We'll be right back.
Tone technology by Clash Discs.
Pre-flight check complete. We are go for launch. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Go for launch.
At LL Bean, we've been innovating for over a century, making great products better so you can feel better. Day after day, year after year. Outside together since 1912. LL Bean, be an outsider.
OTB is very specific on how they list the disc because they want you to like the disc.
Virtually in your hand tells you what the disc is going to feel like, how heavy it's going to be. It's everything you want to know before it shows up to your house.
Not just marketing.
It's only the best.
Jonathan. Wow!
Jonathan! Skulle du visa?
Hi. Yeah, check this pad out.
I think you should use your wrist a little bit more.
Why not?
Is he okay?
Yeah, he's fine.
Antala on the tee of 18.
Oh, dude.
So many trees to miss late here. You might think your job is finished, as Gannon probably did there. And then a bad reaction, and now he's deep circle 2.
Nice reaction off the tree there, kind of a forward kick.
Rick showing us the other option, power forehand. And it's worked very well.
That seems like a small group of people that can take that left side here. We're going to see our Flight Factory drone. Sexton, what do we got on 18?
Yeah, I think we're seeing most guys try to just get that slight little bit of turnover on the backhand to get over this bush right in the middle that's in the shade. The mistake, I think, is getting a little bit up high left here. Then you're going to get chopped down. I think if you can stay just a little right and try to make the left move pretty late in the flight so that you've kind of already beat all this low ceiling stuff. But obviously there's a lot of trees over there. People are having trouble with this one right here on the right side, kind of blocking them as they come in. If you got that low power forehand, I think it might be a cleaner line all the way to the pin. Still got some work to do to save that par.
And we were just having a great conversation during our commercial break about this hole specifically. And early on in the round, I was talking about how it's been moved. Now, it was moved for Worlds last year, but this is the first time we're seeing it here in the GMC. So it's not new at all, but it is just more difficult back in the woods. This hole used to be one of the easier holes at 344. It was just to the right and shorter from the pin we're seeing. And so that's the new move that Jeff has made over the last couple of years.
Solid bid, but just off the top for Gannon Burr.
I think he was pretty unlucky there. That really got out there to the right after what looked like a pretty good line. This to save par.
Antela will fall to 7 under. Not the Ricky Wysocki we're used to seeing out here. Heimberg can pull one in front of Wysocki with a birdie here, but low and off the front of the cage.
Shades of hole 14, where we saw both of those guys miss very makeable opportunities.
Welcome back in. I'm going to say that wasn't exactly inspiring what we just saw. Kind of surprising, in fact. But Sexton, what's an initial reaction or takeaway here today?
I would just say, looking at the leaderboard, one of the more interesting top 10s we've had all year. Some names that you're not used to seeing, some guys that haven't had the greatest seasons but are coming on strong today. I'm interested to see how it shakes out.
Yeah, definitely going to have to see some nerves be dealt with tomorrow for some of these guys. My big takeaway is what you saw today is why Gannon Buhr has won so many 4-round tournaments. We saw him play some of the worst golf that you could potentially imagine him playing, and he's inside the top 10. I mean, he's just 2 strokes behind the lead. So that is something to think about. Also, a little bit inspired play from Nicholas Antila, who was nearly over par and almost came back to shoot 8 under. He just bogeyed there. So that's why these guys are 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 in the top DGPT standings, and we'll see if they can continue to work their way up the board over the next 3 rounds.
Yeah, I guess I think of my thought just being we have such high expectations. The ceiling is so high, or the standard they've set is so high. Today I didn't see that they necessarily lived up to it, but that's why we have 3 more rounds to go. We also will have Tournament Central, and we'll catch up with Brian. All of that and more on the other side of the break. We'll see you in a minute.